Hello everybody, welcome back once again to the Final Fantasy 13-2 walkthrough. The first video, yeah, didn't get a whole lot done other than, the opening, which is usually always long for a Final Fantasy game, as well as the first little, battle tutorial. So here we've got, guess I'm trying to find my game again. I've got a few save files here, so just had to track down the right one. But so this video is actually going to start out with a little bit of, I guess, more of I don't know if I'd call it background information, but there's a lot of cool stuff in the data log. So the data log is another carryover from the first Final Fantasy 13. So they've, it's basically, it's fairly self-explanatory, I should say. It's basically got all the kind of the basics of the game, as well as it does kind of define some of the people, I guess, in the world. I think there's a bestiary aspect of it too. We'll see here. I don't remember what that's for. That's for I don't know if that's for beating the original 13 or if you just played it. I'm not sure. But alright, so here we've got, what is this? Significant persons. Lightning. Again, I'm assuming if you're watching these videos, you've played the original 13, but if not, I still will try to do a decent job of explaining, the people and kind of what happened. Well, maybe not what happened in the original 13, because that game is, it's crazy. It's I think actually, now that I've got a better grasp on it and the events that happened, I think that they just did a poor job of kind of of labeling. So fal'Cie and l'Cie and what are some of the other terms in the original? Seath, so those are they're terms that are, they're just tough to get straight. Number one, they sound a little bit too much alike, and then I think that there would have been a better way to go about it. I think had they said that, whatever, the l'Cie essentially cursed, the gang, the original characters from the first from the first game, but just things like that, I don't know. I think that a lot of people, especially, I can speak for myself, really. It's confusing. It's confusing to keep all of the terms straight. Yeah, so this is l'Cie are cursed human servants of the fal'Cie. Okay, there was probably a better way of explaining that. And again, like I said, and then here you've got, they turn into monsters called Seath. It's everything just sounds a little bit too much alike, whereas had they named these things completely different, I feel like it would have been easier to keep those terms straight. So, but this is me talking about the game a billion years later, so. But yeah, all right, so. Kind of the backstory, we'll go into, I'll just briefly go over it. The original characters essentially get cursed. I'm using that, word because I think it's easier. By these, I don't know if they're beings even. They get cursed by something. And they have to accomplish a task, essentially. And if they don't accomplish that task, they turn into monsters. That's pretty much the gist of it. However, Lightning, I would say she's the main character of the original 13. She kind of goes against her task, essentially. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, and kind of goes and does her own thing. And she is now currently at the end? I don't know if it's considered the end of time. She's in Valhalla, which is, I don't think that's a place that we can get to. Well, actually no, I think we do actually get to go there later. Yeah, actually, if I'm remembering right, I think we do actually get to stop in there. But yeah, so she's there. We need to, I guess, link up with her at some point, or at least that's what Sarah wants to do. All right, so what do we got here? All kinds of. Most of this stuff isn't that useful information. Yeah, primers. I shouldn't say that. It can be. It can be for people that haven't played, especially if you haven't played the original 13. This stuff actually can be pretty useful. So here, battle difficulty. This is actually kind of important. Switching to easy mode is one way to deal with tough monsters. However, the difficulty mode does affect your battle rank. So, I assume it's tougher to get a good battle rank on easy. I don't know if I've ever actually played on easy though, so that may not even be accurate. I just don't know. And I've got some. I'm not 100% sure on how the battle rating is actually calculated in this game. And I'll actually go over that a little bit more later. But we've got a ton of cutscenes and dialogue to come up with, or to take care of here. So I'm just gonna chill for a bit. There's a live trigger here. This, let's see here. Okay, so these live triggers, you don't have to answer them the exact way that I do, but I would recommend doing that. Just because there's different items that you get for certain answers, and I'm going to try to go with the, I would say it's the toughest to obtain items. Normally you get 2 different items per area, and like I said, one is tougher to get than the other, so I'm gonna go with those ones. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in these cutscenes.
What's happening? How did I get here? This place, it's like the world has ended. Wait, maybe this is the future. Is this what's going to happen to us? But why? Enough! I want to go home!
Sarah, come on! Everyone, this way! Down!
What is that?
Take that!
Please, no! Lightning! Help me! Get a hold of yourself! Lightning can't protect you anymore! You have to look after yourself now. Do you hear me? Your sister's dead. She can't help you. LeBro!
You want her? Then you're gonna have to go through me! Get up, Sarah.
You were in my dream. I saw you.
Save it for later. Can you fight?
If I have to?
You're gonna have to. One more thing. Don't ever lay down and wait to die!
Okay, so here we're gonna have a couple of battles coming up here. But anyway, so like I was saying with the live triggers, again, there's two different items basically. I'm gonna try to get the more difficult to obtain ones, and I'll try to point those out whenever possible. This first area is actually really easy to miss a lot of the live events, so I'll try to point out exactly where you need to go, or at what time you need to have certain dialogues. These first battles are going to be tough to get, and I don't think it really matters to get the 5-star ratings on. I don't really know why that is. I guess partly because you have to waste I'm wasting a little bit of time here by switching to the slash and burn because it's not the default paradigm, if you'll notice. And I don't even know if this was a good way to go about this. I don't think either of the characters has blitz though right now. So I don't know. It's hard to say. It may have actually been better to just stay in the regular, I think it's Double Trouble, and have both of the characters act as commandos instead. Normally, that's not a great way to do things unless like an enemy's got really poor defense and that, and yeah, I don't know. It's the reason why slash and actually this is slash and burn. So slash and burn is good because you've got one Ravager and one commando, so and they focus on the enemies. But yeah, again, like I was saying, I don't even know that it really. I don't think it actually really even matters that much at all, especially in these first battles. There's just this is just, these are garbage enemies. They don't really require a whole lot of strategy to take them down. But anyways, so we're actually not able to choose our paradigms right now. I should say we can obviously switch in battle, but you can't set them up quite yet. That will be coming up really soon. And the good thing about that is then you can actually choose what you want your default paradigm to be. Because like I said, right now it's Double Trouble, and whether or not that was actually a good one to start off with, I'm not 100% sure. I'm obviously switching to slash and burn a lot, and only getting 3 stars. So for all I know, that Double Trouble could be a better paradigm to even stay in. I'm not sure. And, obviously these battles aren't going that great because I'm only getting 3 stars for every single one of them. But yeah. So anyways, right now we're actually severely limited on what we can do. So we can't even go to the Custodium yet. Custodium is basically the way you level up. It's essentially the same. Well, I wouldn't say it's the same. There are some tweaks that they made from Final Fantasy 13, which I actually think were really good. The original 13, every character had kind of basically a couple of roles that they started out as, and I think it was actually like 13 or 3 specific roles, and then you would unlock other roles as the game progressed. But the other thing was, like, I guess it's the same with this too, is certain characters were better at certain roles because the abilities that you learn in each role aren't going to be the same between the 2 characters. So like, I'll try to think of a good example here. So like, Sarah will get, I think in this game, even better Ravager abilities. So she makes a better Ravager than Noel does. And then on top of that, you've got you just have different stats as well. So like, Noel just gains more strength over the course of the game than Sarah does. So he's going to be better in the commando role. And likewise, like Sarah's main stat, I would say, is her magic. Like that's just the way that I think she's oriented in this game. So you don't really have to go that route, though. You can literally do whatever you want. If you want both of your characters to focus on strength, you can absolutely do that. I'm gonna go with the traditional style, though, with Sarah being magic and Noel being more strength oriented. So that's how that's gonna play out. But like I said, you can, and I actually did I think I did a full game where I actually swapped the roles, and I had Sarah be the commando, and focus on strength, and Noel focus on magic. I don't know, it was goofy. It's one of it's one of those games where you can do whatever you want, and you'll get through it. I don't know that it's the best way to go about it, like kind of like the backwards way, like I did, but whatever. Do what you're gonna do. Alright, so okay, so yeah, this is just they're talking a little bit about the different paradigms and kind of what ones do what, I suppose. Again, it doesn't really matter right at the moment. Oh, especially these first battles because they're super easy. But all right, I think we got another cutscene. Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, are you okay?
Yeah.
Mackie!
Yeah. Gotta go.
Okay.
All right, everyone, listen up. The meteorite hit over there.
Right.
We're gonna check it out.
Team Yuge, ready to roll. Well, and careful. That area's crawling with monsters.
So stay close, come on.
Okay. Right. You heard him. Move out. With you.
You're okay.
She took a hit, but she's gonna be fine. She just needs some rest.
Thank goodness. And thank you. Whoever you are.
No. Noel Kreis.
Okay.
And before I forget, it wasn't just me. You should probably thank this little guy, too.
Wow. Is that a toy Moogle?
He's supposed to be your lucky charm. Your sister gave him to me.
Wait, you know Lightning?
She's the one who told me to come here.
Where did you see her? Was it Valhalla?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
I saw it in a dream. I saw my sister. She gave you the Moogle. Then the meteorite came.
And dragged me along with it, I guess.
Do you mean you actually rode here on that meteorite?
Maybe. I don't know. Damned if I can remember. Why don't we go and check it out?
Okay. Now I know for sure. Lightning is alive. She's in a place called Valhalla. I'd only just met Noel, but I believed him. I believed every word he said. Even though it couldn't possibly be true. It seems like only yesterday. The smile on Lightning's face when she gave her blessing for Snow and me to get married. But I'm the only one who ever remembered that. No one believes. It's just a dream, they say. From when I slept in the crystal. An illusion. They say my sister is gone. That 3 years ago she sacrificed herself to stop the fall of Cocoon. She turned into the crystal pillar that holds Cocoon above the surface of Pulse, and saved both worlds. That's what they say. But even so...
Jeez, forgot how many. There's just a crazy amount of cutscenes in this game.
Is that all
Well,
you're
yeah.
going to tell me,
Anyway, so
May? Who are you? What do you
Kind
do?
of just,
I'm a hunter.
that was a little bit more of a, kind of a refresher on the events that happened in the original 13. And, here I'm actually, I actually really like so there's a lot of dialogue that's not even, you know, part of cutscenes. And, unfortunately I end up cutting off a lot of it, or I've noticed I've been cutting off a bit of it just because, I'll like walk a little bit too far and it'll start, you know, something else, like another cutscene will start or something like that. So I'm trying to avoid that, but it's actually just really tough. So like, you know, there's one coming up where I'm walking towards Noel, and Sarah and Noel are actually talking about something, and I just go a little bit too far, and I end up I think I end up cutting off a little bit of their you know, banter. It's usually not like, you know, huge plot points, but it's just kind of yeah, it's more like just a little bit of fun information. So like, you know, Sarah will talk to Noel about what life was like where he came from, and, you know, unfortunately, like I said, sometimes it'll get cut off because I just go a little bit too far or walk a little bit too close and a cutscene starts or something. So it's a little annoying that I've noticed that in a couple of spots has happened, because I think a lot of that just little stuff adds up to kind of the feel of the game.
I heard a meteorite
Here
fall
I'm
from the sky, and
probably
that's
just
what
gonna
it
speak
must
to whoever has a dialogue bubble over their head. These guys usually have a little bit of story or plot, you know, plot points or plot explanation as well. So we'll try to hit those up whenever I see
Gano
them.
and the others left to investigate the meteorite.
Were you Jinmaki with him?
Yeah, I think so. He made us stay here because the path is covered in fallen trees. He said it was way too dangerous for us.
Okay. Here there's I don't know why there's a temporary barrier keeping us from that side of the area. Talk to that guy.
Watch out for the monsters, Sarah.
Watch out for monsters, Sarah. Yeah, cool. So it'll be explained in a little while, but all these people were originally from Cocoon, and they're on Pulse now. Obviously, this area that we're on is Pulse, and you know, reason being, obviously, Cocoon is, I don't know if you want to say frozen or encased in crystal, and you can obviously see it off in the distance. And Fang and Vanille from the original 13 are apparently encased in the crystal. They're in the what do they call it? The pillar that's holding Cocoon up. So okay, so this is DLC. These outfits, and I feel like I liked some of these outfits more before, and I don't really like them anymore. Like the battle attire, that's probably the coolest of the DLC, and I was going to use that, and then it was shortly after I just went right back to the default, and I actually have Sarah and Noel both in their default clothes again, or outfits. I remember, so there was something going on when Xbox Live they were doing something with accounts or something like that, and I either had to spend the whatever, again, there was, you know, some sort of credits in the Xbox Live store, and I had to spend them or lose them, which, you know, or maybe I misunderstood it, but I had a couple of bucks, so I just blew it all essentially on this game. So whatever I had, I got all the DLC and bought, like, you know, whatever I could. So yeah, I ended up with a few outfits, and the what is it? The beachwear. Beachwear looks okay, but I think the rest of these outfits look stupid. Style and Steel. This is kind of I don't know if I'd say it's a rip-off of the Lightning outfit, but it looks like the Lightning outfit. And then White Mage is somewhat classic, I suppose, of the Final Fantasy franchise. I don't know, even that white summoner outfit doesn't look that much like
Curiosity
some of
killed
them
the
of
cat.
the past. Okay, so here's another live trigger. Strange young man says he met with Lightning in Valhalla. I need to find out more. Okay. Hunter, where are you from? I don't think this live trigger matters. So, like I was saying earlier, there's usually 2 items that you get for these live triggers. And one item is more difficult to get. Those are the choices that I'm, trying to, like I said, trying to stick with to get those items. You can actually come back later, and I would argue that it's actually easier to get those harder items later. I think you typically have more choices to obtain those, whereas the first time you go through an area, it's more difficult to get those because there's and actually it's based on what I think is generally called a funny choice. Okay, so it sounds kind of goofy, right? But I'll be honest, I actually don't really like it that much, especially for a first playthrough, because the game has a certain feel to it, and when you're just constantly
Curiosity killed the cat.
I guess choosing kind of airheaded responses or just kind of joking around, joking responses, I actually kind of feel like it takes a little bit away from the game. So it's kind of crummy, but I guess it is what it is. And like I said, I'm trying to get those more difficult to obtain items the first time through an area, so I'm just going to kind of continue on with that. So here's the Mog Clock tutorial. Mog Clock tutorial is basically, okay, so when an enemy appears, so this is a little bit different from Final Fantasy 13 from the original one, where, so in Final Fantasy 13 you actually always see the enemies on screen, short of some of the boss fights, right? So oftentimes you'd come up to an area and you wouldn't necessarily know that there was a boss fight coming up, but there was. So those were the only ones that were really like that. Really, for the most part, in the original 13, most of the time you knew where the enemies were at, and you try to get behind them and start fights that way. And it was actually better to do that, obviously, or maybe it was always better to do that because you got. I think you automatically completely filled up the chain gauge whenever you did that. So this one is quite a bit different. You don't fill up the chain gauge automatically when you get when you get the jump on these enemies, but you do get the haste condition, and it does bounce the chain gauge up to 120%. So you do get a little bit of a bonus, but it's not as ridiculous as the first game. And I mean, there's certain points where in the first game it was so crazy when you would do that because, for instance, the clockwork soldiers, like that enemy that we just fought. Those typically have a really high stagger point, and so in the original game you would just immediately stagger them and you'd just crush them essentially. But this one, like I said, that doesn't happen. You can only chain up to, or you only hit them to 120%. But you do get haste as well, so it's kind of a nice thing. So here's another one of our choices. Noel is looking at Cocoon as though he's seeing it for the first time, and what do you say?
What do you mean by in the legend?
Oh, in the legend, that's right.
The legend about Cocoon, and how it was held up in the sky by a crystal pillar. How we all knew that story.
Seems funny to call it a legend. It's only been 3 years.
Okay, so in Noel's time, if you didn't catch that there, in Noel's time, Cocoon doesn't exist. So it's already gone from wherever he's from or whenever he's from, and so that's why he's. I mean, obviously, so that live trigger said something like, you know, Noah's thinking that it's the first time he's seen it. Well, because it is the first time he's seen it. And it kind of lends a little bit more to his credibility, you know, that he's not from around here. As corny as that sounds. But, you know, a few of the Nora members don't, especially, is it Godot? Yeah, Godot. Godot is not convinced that Noah is telling the truth. So, I feel like Godot, I mean, obviously he is. I've played the game, and I know exactly what happens, but it's little stuff like that where it's like, yeah, something's not, something's off with Noel. But Noel's amazing, by the way. I actually like him the best. It's funny, a lot of people really trash Sarah, and like some of the, I just been watching a few other videos on the subject of Final Fantasy 13 too, and you know, I actually normally don't do that, but it was, I don't know what caught my eye about a couple of them. But anyways, you know, a lot of trash in Sarah for being, you know, super one-dimensional, and that's kind of true. I don't know that she really changes. But I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know that really matters. I mean, she's Lightning's sister, and it's tough to. It's actually really tough to. I mean, I don't think you can outdo Lightning. That's for sure. She's just Lightning is awesome. You know, she's kind of the groundbreaker. So the reality is, Lightning was the main one. I don't know. It's tough to say if she was the main character, but I just of the original 13. So it's kind of tough to kind of beat that, I guess. So, but anyways, like I say, I think she does her job just fine. I was never really bothered by Sarah. She is what she is. Like her or hate her. But Noel, I will say, I mean, Noel is my favorite character of the two. He definitely does have a bit more depth to him. But you know, that's just the way they're written. So, yeah. All right. So there's an area here. If you notice there that there's a kind of a treasure floating out in the middle of nowhere, and we actually can't get to that right now. We'll be able to get to that though in a little while. So don't worry too much about that one. Basically what happens is the water level drops, and you'll be able to get there. But here's the map. The maps are actually pretty useful. I don't remember. I could have swore that there was something for exploring everywhere, or like, you know, uncovering all the maps. So if you notice here right now, the mini-map's got it's a lighter blue, and that's the area that we've been to. And then there's darker blue, and that's where we haven't been to yet. But here we've got a life trigger with Godot.
Sarah! Still in one piece? We're seeing lots of unfriendly critters around that meteorite. Uh-huh. Who's this?
Oh. This is Noel. He helped LeBro and me out of a tight spot.
Is that right?
Hey.
I'm Godot.
Okay, take it easy, big guy. I am not here to make trouble for anyone.
You better not. Anything happens to Sarah, and the boss will string your carcass out to dry.
Sounds like a tool. I could deal with him.
Huh? Who do you think you are? 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so that's one of the funny answers, and that's actually one of the ones that I really like. The way that Godot reacts, he's like, huh? Oh man, that's good stuff. Anyways, so like I said, that was for sure one of the funny options that we can pick in order to get the better of the two items now. trying to think of which. Yeah, I don't remember the name. So, boy, I should have mentioned this earlier though. The items that you get for these live triggers are just adornments. So, I think they all are. Hopefully I'm not wrong on this. But anyways, the adornments are essentially worthless. You can add them to like your monsters and stuff to kind of like, I guess, make them look different. I'll be honest, I never use any of them. I think they're all stupid. So, just straight honesty. That's what you get. So yeah, so I'll be honest, while I will probably collect as many as I can, they're pointless. They're dumb. I don't even use them. So there's that. Alright, so here we've got a little bit of jumping here. Now here, this is kind of cool. This is what...
Am I dreaming?
I see it too.
Here, so.
Pretty sure it's no dream.
And they actually explain it fairly well here too, but basically it's where two time periods are overlapping, which I thought was a pretty cool concept actually. So, yeah, so we'll probably get a little bit more detail later on, but sometimes there are... sorry, we've got another live video.
Oh, hey, Huge.
Hey, so this is the famous Noel, huh?
Yep.
I guess news travels fast.
The bro told me how you helped her out. I'm Huge. Nice to meet you.
Hey, likewise.
What's with the new style and threads, Sarah? Not exactly a dress up and hit the town kind of occasion.
You want to try them on? They might look better on you.
I don't think so. Wouldn't want to show you up or anything. Okay, I better get going. See you guys later.
Bye.
Okay, so the Huge event there, that was another funny choice, if you notice. She says something like, well, if you want to, maybe you want to try it on when she's doing different clothes.
More of them.
Weird. How do these plants grow so fast? I don't get it. There must be pockets of unstable time or something.
More meteorite phenomena.
Oh, you got that right. Oh, look at this stuff. Ever since that rock came down, we've been seeing all kinds of aberrations.
Do you have any idea what's happening?
Not the slightest clue. Some spots seem to have sped forward centuries. But other parts haven't changed at all.
So, these areas are from different timelines. Realities blending together. Like two ages overlapping. That about right?
Right! It's exactly like that.
So, is the Moogle from another dimension, do you think?
Well, I'd have to dismantle it to know for sure.
Whoa!
I think he understood you. In any case, we can't go breaking Sarah's good luck charm.
Okay, so that was the Mackie event trigger. It's funny, I don't know if that was a quote unquote, a funny choice or not, when Sarah asked where was the Moogle from. But Mackie does say, oh, I don't know, I'd have to take them apart to find out. Really? Really? You'd have to take them apart to find out, and you would know by taking it? It doesn't make any sense. So, so yeah, so there's that. But, alright, so here we've got our boss fight, I think, coming up here.
Cocoon is gone.
Ooh, Cocoon is gone. Okay. Alright, so this is the first, I guess, boss fight. This is Gogmagog or something like that. Okay, so this is where they mean, I don't know. I guess this is kind of like the Sentinel tutorial, kind of. So yeah, obviously it does, you know, talk a little bit about how the Sentinel's job is to the interesting thing about the Sentinel is, again, just like Final Fantasy, even just having one Sentinel reduces everybody's damage taken. I'm gonna swap to Twin Shield for an easy swipe. I don't know if I would say I overdid it. You don't actually have to swap that many times. You can take a couple of swipes before switching paradigm, but if you do, you actually stay really healthy. Now here, I have got him staggered, and that was probably one of the times where I shouldn't have bothered switching. I could have just kept pounding on him, and I would have been fine. Ooh, okay, so we're down to about 140 health or so. So yeah, I don't know, maybe you can only take like one swipe. Without, you know, healing. If you want to, you can potion through. But target time was 2 minutes, 22 seconds, I think, and we beat it in one something. Okay, so that is the Gogmog fragment alpha, did it say, I think? So, alright, so this is all about the fragments. Alright, there's 160 fragments total. And then usually, possibly always, you get a bunch of CP when you get a fragment as well. So that's kind of a nice little bonus. And there's another treasure sphere right there that I accidentally walked a little bit too far, but let's jump back up and grab that. There we go. 2 Grishalgrins. Those are for riding chocobos. We will do that a little while later.
What is that place? Noel, do you know?
Yeah.
Wait, what happened to Cocoon? It's not there.
Well, you're looking at a different time. That's the world I come from. In my world, Cocoon doesn't exist. When I was born, the sky was already empty. Tell me, how many years has it been since Ragnarok appeared and Cocoon fell?
Well, it's 3 AF, so that was 3 years ago.
For me, all that happened 700 years in the past. I was born and raised in another time. 700 years in the future.
Yes, I knew it. I knew you weren't from this world.
I'm the last of humanity.
Hey!
Sarah, I can take you there. We can find Lightning together. I know she wants to see you.
You're full of it!
Yeah, that's impossible.
Lightning's gone, man.
Godot. Noel, do you know where my sister is?
Come with me.
What's happening?
You see? It's a time gate.
What do you mean? Wow. Time gate.
What the? It's like a portal. Lightning is in a place called Valhalla. She's waiting on the other side.
I couldn't turn my eyes away. I knew the answer lay beyond that gate. The answer to my doubts and dreams. On the broad plain beneath Cocoon, my sister once celebrated my marriage to Snow. I remember her smile like it was yesterday. But sometime when I wasn't looking, she disappeared. She was gone as if she'd never been there in the first place. Lightning, are you out there? Did I dream that day on Pulse, or did it really happen? Noel says he can find you, but is he telling the truth? Noel's world was a terrible place where Cocoon did not exist. He had traveled back in time to change that bleak future. Or so he told us.
Listen, when different eras overlap, all kinds of crazy stuff happens. Objects from different times get mixed up. If you want to open a gate and travel through time, you have to find one of those objects. They're called artifacts.
Artifacts?
The keys to the future. They're anachronisms, relics of a different world. Basically, things that don't belong in your time. If we can find one, we might be able to use it to open the gate. Then we could cross time and travel to Lightning's world.
Could Noel be telling the truth? Beyond that gate, in a place called Valhalla, is Lightning alive and waiting for me? Can I dare to hope again, after all this time? Oh, how I want to believe. I want my sister back.
Alright, we've got a little bit more dialogue, and then that's it. So this video I'm going to actually wrap up right now. So as always, hope the guide was helpful, and hope you join me for more videos. Thanks for watching.
So much happened the night the meteorite fell. We all had a lot to think about. I wonder if anyone slept. Good morning.